Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my June wrap-up. I decided that I'm just going to try to do this in one video, so this might get a little long. But I just want to get kind of cleared off and then move forward. So my reviews might be not so clear, I mean as in details, because it's been a few weeks since I read some of these things. But I just want to get this out that I read these books and my impressions of them. So, we'll see. So it's been a kind of hard month. June was not a great reading month. It wasn't bad. Like, I definitely still got stuff done. I finished 9 books and then also 1 manga. But so technically 9 I read stuff, but of those, 3 of them were rereads. So I don't think that's any surprise to anybody on my reading habits. I always have rereads, but you know, as I said, I had 3 of them. So I'm just going to go through with when I finish them during the month. I don't remember what days anymore. I just wrote down a list of which ones I finished in what order. And we will go from there. So a lot of these are actually from my library. I actually finally did the online, the Libby app. I've never, like, I had got it, but I never used it. I'm not a big ebook and audiobook listener as much as I am physical. But this month just seemed to be, that's where I got through most of it. Most of my reading was done by ebook or audiobook this month. And mostly that was because of some of the library stuff, but also just because of what I was picking up reading physically just didn't connect. I have like a whole bunch of books I'll show at the end of what I'm currently reading or that I started that I should get back to. So anyway, but the first book I finished was The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Can you see that? Oh, this was such a great book. I really enjoyed this. This was fun and cute. It had just, it had fantasy elements, and it had, it was this, so it has this guy who's like the social worker of sorts, and he looks after, goes to orphanages that are taking care of children with extraordinary abilities. And so he's known for being very, like, on the job. He's, like, strict, like, as in he does what he needs to do, and he writes up his reports meticulously on everything. So his bosses sent him to this one that they want a report on for a month so that they can, for who knows what reasons, is really why he's being sent there. So he goes, and he is thrown out of his comfort zone because he lives in the city and it's all rainy and gloomy and blah, and he comes to the beautiful sea. So it's all really fun. And then what it has to do with his reaction to what kids are there at the orphanage, the people who run it or live around there, and then the townspeople that live, because they're on an island and the town that's by, and he brings his cat, and it's just, I just love this book. This was such a cute book. I just enjoyed it. Very emotional in some parts. Some of the stuff he says hit home to me so hard, as in, because he's like 40 and he, his life is just kind of the same old in the beginning. And it was just like, it struck me so hard. Some of this. So I just love this. I read it from my library on an ebook, and then it came up on sale just last week. So I don't know if it's still on sale, but oh my God, this was such a cute little fantasy. It was just, and it has LGBTQ like representation and romance and stuff in this, just a little bit, but I really love the fantasy elements of this and the emotional stuff that was going on, and just the story itself. It was just, it was cute. I love this. I love this book. And he keeps throwing out little rumors about stuff that maybe he'll try to like put out another book, like as in propose another one to his publisher. And I'm like, yes, please. I want another one, especially with these people or something connected. Anyway, I just love this book. It was really a fantastic read, and I recommend it. I then finished Showa, A History of Japan, 1953 to 1989. So this is the last one of the 4 volumes that Shigeru Mizuki did. So he, again, it's manga. So it's his life intermixed with what happened with Japan and stuff, and sometimes a couple things around the world, but mostly it's around Japan's history during the Showa era, which was one of their emperors. So this is translated by Zach Davidson. So I've been reading this since the beginning of the year. So this is volume 4. I finally finished it. I've had it since March when I got it right before the library closed. So I did finish this. And I'm glad I finished it all. This was not my favorite volume. I think I got a lot out of the other ones. I think this one was much more on him as a person than some of the other ones. But I also, that makes kind of sense because it's his adulthood more and stuff he did, as well as, again, most of the, what was going on in the world. So anyway, I still recommend these, as they're great, like memoir, graphic novels or whatever, but it's the history of Japan, and it's really well done and in a different perspective, which I really thought was well done. So I'm glad I got through all of those, and I was very impressed by them. So then, the book that I was anticipating, one of my biggest anticipation books for the year, of course, was Nalini Singh's Alpha Knight dropped, and I of course started reading it right away. Well, I put down the book that I was reading, which is one of the books I still haven't got back to. Anyway, so this is book number 19 in the Psy Changeling series, or it's book 4, I think. Is it 4 in the Psy Trinity? Trinity. I can't say that word. Sorry, it's just not working today. Trinity. Series. Anyway, so I've been reading these books for years now, and this was fun. I like this one a lot. So this was following Selinka, who is the alpha of the wolves in which I'm gonna forget, Black Edge wolves in Russia. So they're the counterparts to the bears, which is Stonewater, which is my favorite book, Silver Silence. So it was great to kind of see. So we get a little bit of them, as well as, again, it focuses on the wolves, which is great because we get another clan to kind of look at. And again, this is paranormal romance, urban fantasy kind of thing. So and then the hero, or the male character, is Arrow, but he was held kind of captive by one of the main big bad guys in this series, Ming. So it was really interesting how this went, because it went from, he was doing something that was not, he set something up in motion, and then it's kind of when he comes clean, because they have a connection right away, and it kind of drives the whole story. This went in different directions than I expected. He was, as a hero in this series, I think he was very different, which I really enjoyed. I wasn't expecting half of the stuff that happened with him, but she was just awesome. She was a great character, and I want more of her clan. Some of those people, I just want their books now, which is the problem with her series, is I want all the side characters to have their own books, and she just can't write that much, and I really wish she would, because again, Nalini Singh is my favorite author right now, or has been for years. Anyway, so I really, really enjoyed this. I read it really fast. I read it, within 2 days. And then the next day I was like, well, what do I want to read? I reread it. So I read this back to back. I've never done that before with her, but I usually wait like a couple weeks to a couple months before I reread. No, I reread it, and I loved it even more on the second reread. I got more of the details that I might miss because I read it so fast the first time. So within 4 days, I'd read this twice. So that was kind of how my reading was going. It was really good. I really enjoy that series. It's one of my favorites of all time. I'm not gonna, let's not beat around the bush. So then, of course, I think I tried to read something else, which is, again, I didn't finish. Get to that. But I went and then I picked up Written and Read by Anne Bishop. Is anybody surprised that I restarted this series again? So this is my third reading of this book, and I, of course, just adore this. I love this book. This is urban fantasy following Meg and Simon, and Meg shows up at this place where, so the world is where all the others, which are kind of the shapeshifters and vampires and stuff, rule North America, and humans only lease little area, like certain areas for their cities and towns, and they negotiate, that use of resources and stuff. Well, we're at a time where the humans are getting kind of mad about having to ask permission for things, or to do certain, or to take over certain land, and the others are kind of pushing back, going, well, this is our land, we were here first, and they're fighting back and forth. And then we're thrown in with Meg and this Lakeside, which are this town where she ends up, when has her own backstory, and then she meets the others at their courtyard, which is where they stay in the middle of the town to watch over the humans and their interactions. And then this is my favorite books. Anyway, so I reread that. So I was that's not I don't think that was a surprise that I would start rereading these again this year. I finished the series, I think, in January or February when I reread them. And so I restarted it again so I could read it this year. So then I started listening to some audiobooks, started coming in from the library. I had requested them a few weeks before, so I have a few audiobooks in a row that I got from the library. The first one I listened to was How to Be an Anti-Racist by it just went out of my head. Ibram X. Kendi. I should know how to say it. It just my mind. Sorry. He actually read this one, so I listened to this on audio, and this was the first book I picked up, and I picked up a couple books after it that are kind of on the same theme that I think a lot of people are reading about right now. This had been on my TBR or wish list to get to. I just had not gotten to it yet. So again, I got it from the library, I think I really liked the structure of this. Is in one of those things where he would talk about certain racist and anti-racist ways of looking at things in certain things like class and race and gender and stuff like that. And then he would kind of throw in a story of his life and stuff. Now, admittedly, it was harder for me to read the stuff about his personal life because he is very honest in here about stuff he did wrong or thought wrong, and I think he did a really good job of that. It just hurts sometimes to listen to that, because it's just you feel for him, because you go, well, I could have made that mistake, or I didn't think the same way he did, or in that circumstance, but I could see where I could have done that or had done that, kind of thing. So it was hard for me in reading that for that. I was glad I listened to it, because it was very hard to, it was easier for me to get through it, or not get, that's not the way I want to say that. I just don't know how it would have been physically for me to read. I might have set it down more often. With the audiobook, I don't know, I was able to power through it a little bit more and get through it. It still took me over a week to listen to it, and I think it was like a 10-hour audiobook, so it wasn't like I was rushing through it or anything. I just consistently listened to it every day until I got it done. But I really recommend it as a really interesting, or not an interesting. It was I think it was put together really well to explain what an anti-racist is. So I did listen to that, and then let's see here. Then I reread the next book in the other series. This is Murder of Crows. So I did finish this as well this month, and so I've started reading the 5-book series over again, and so I read book 2. Continues the story from book 1. And then I listened to Freedom is a Constant Struggle, Ferguson, Palestine, and the Foundations of a Movement by Angela Y. Davis. This was really good. This was read by her, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was read by her. I'm trying to find my notes for, I kind of messed that up, but I'm pretty sure it was read by her. It was really, this was really interesting, because it was like taking some of her talks that she's done in like 2012 to 2015, and about certain things, talking about Ferguson and talking about Palestine, and brought some parallels that I did not really think about with Israel and Palestine, like to what like the African American or like the movements here with Ferguson and stuff had happened. Like the parallels were, I did not connect some of that stuff, like of what they go through over there and stuff. So it was interesting to see it from another worldview of looking at other places. And it's she also, you know, said brought up different areas and her talks did sometimes, you know, talk about the same things, but they were usually written differently enough that it wasn't like too the same over and over. But I really enjoyed this. Like, I got a lot out of this, and a lot of notes of places and people I want to get books on to further my research. I've thought things I did not know about, and other people who, because again, she was put on trial for murder at one point and acquitted, and then she's, you know, been activist for many, many, many years. So there's other people that she knows who have had issues with being political prisoners, or had issues with that or kind of thing. So there was a lot of things I still don't know a lot of that. So it was a very big eye-opener. I did really enjoy this. I thought I got a lot out of it, and I really want, as I said, there's a lot of stuff I want to research you know, about that as well. So anyway, I don't know if I made any sense on that. And then so the last one I finished was another audiobook. So that audiobook also was from the library. And then I listened to White Fragility, Why It Is So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism by Robin DiAngelo. So I wasn't gonna read this because I knew this was written from a white perspective, and so I was like, I don't know if I want to read this after, because I was reading a lot of the other stuff. And but I decided to go ahead because I'd heard enough good things about it to look at it from, she's talking about from a white perspective, how we are making mistakes on focusing on us and not on being world view, and just focusing on what we want and what we need kind of thing as a white person, and not as in what everybody should need and everybody should get kind of thing. And it was, I think, it was a really a good book that way. I agreed with a lot of stuff that she put in there, and stuff that I'd already noticed throughout media, throughout, you know, other stuff. So I did get out of it. I think right now we should mostly be focusing on reading about stuff from a different perspective from our own, but I also think that she was really good about showing what, you know, how quickly we try to look back, yeah, but that doesn't affect us, and so then that's not a problem. That's not how that works. And I think she did some good stuff in here. Anyway, so I did like the audiobook. It was it was read by Amy Landon. So I thought it was a good audiobook. Again, I got it from the library. I got it right away. I was pretty surprised on all these. I got them pretty quickly. So I did do a lot of audiobooks. Work was so busy in certain times, but a lot of it was paperwork stuff that I was able to listen to it at work, or the few times I did drive, I got to do it then. But like I said, I did a lot of audiobooks, and I did listen to some audiobooks while I was playing Animal Crossing, but not a lot. just a little bit. Anyway, so those are all the books that I finished, which is not, you know, as I said, it was an okay month number wise when I added it all up. I'm still, you know, over 70 pages per day, so I was pretty good with that. It's just, you know, it didn't go the way I was thinking. I had all these plans. So I'm just going to go through really quick the books that I'm in the middle of. I'm first going to show the one DNF, because I am so disappointed. I had to DNF Behind the Throne by KB Wagers. I wanted to love this. It was a first-person space kind of opera-ish thing. Haley had left being a royal, and she, you know, went out and she had her reasons for doing it, but then for 20 years she just kind of was a gun runner and not doing the, you know, the best things out there in the world. Anyway, and then something happens and she wakes up and she's been attacked, but she can't remember right away why. And there are people on her ship that are, you know, that weren't supposed to be there, and then they inform her that they're bringing her back. They know who she is, and she's coming back back to her family, who are in charge of this, are the heads of this empire. So she has to go back. She's pretty much forced, and then it's her trip there. So it was really interesting. I did like the beginning. I did get into it because there was some mystery at first of what had actually happened to her, how she was injured in the beginning, and I did like that. My problem is, okay, I got to about 100, a little over 100 pages. And she has not seen her family in 20 years, and all these things are going on, so I'm not going to say what happens because that's part of it, but she and her mother are having a discussion. The woman's nearly 40 years old, and she's acting like a teenager. She hasn't seen her mother in 20 years. And, I mean, I couldn't handle it. Like, I seriously just had a meltdown. Like, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Look, you're almost 40. You should be able to control your emotions, even if it's a stressful time. But mostly it's more, you can act like an adult. Sorry. So I'm sure the books get better, and I think other people can get past that. I think it's just me at that time was just, no, you would not act like that. You would just be like, talk rationally a little bit more before you go all teenagery in your late 30s. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, that didn't go so well. So that was the only book I technically DNF'd. So I did start one day the third book in the other series, Vision in Silver, but I put it aside because I picked up a different book to read. But I will come back to this. So it's technically it's kind of currently reading, but you know it's a reread. I will get to it at some point. I did start The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin, which is the first book in the Dream Blood duology, and I got 96 pages in. So this is the book that I put aside when Alpha Knight came out. And I should have got right back to it. But because I spent 4 days reading that book twice, I just didn't pick it up again. And I started picking up rereads. So this book is one I want to go back to. So this is a different world, you know, where, oh my God. Cooper, Cooper. Anyway, sorry. He's going to start biting on paper over there. Sorry, I apologize for that. Anyway, this is so it has to do with like dream magic and stuff. So one of the guys, I think the main guy that we're following is Hiryu, I think, and he tries to go into someone's dream to find out some information, and it goes wrong, and the guy dies in a really bad way, and so he's kind of upset about that. And then we're also looking at a younger man who is just joining the people who go and do this. I don't know. I'm not explaining this well because I read it the first 100 pages almost, and then I've put it down. So I might have to reread it again and then get back into it, because again, we're following, I think there's like 3 characters, because there's also a diplomat from another country that's there, and I think they want to kill her, and so there's anyway, as I said, I've not read, I've only read the Broken Earth trilogy by her, and I do want to read her new book, but I wanted to go back. I owned this one, and I own the Inheritance trilogy, so I do want to read these books. I'm going to attempt this again. So I don't know if it's going to be this month, but this is a book that's still on my currently reading. I will get back to this. I just might have to reread part of the beginning again, because it's been like 3 weeks and I'm already kind of like not quite sure. And then let's see here. So I have not come back to this ebook, just saying The Romantic Outlaws, The Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley by Charlotte Gordon. I still am listening to that on audio, but I've not picked it up since May, so it's just on the back burner because I got all those audiobooks from work, or from the library, not from work. And I am still reading The Mirror and the Light, kind of. So I'm over 200 pages in now. 256 pages, and I just cannot pick this up. I have 500 pages to read left. This is due at the end of July, because I think our library is finally opened up enough where I'm going to go pick up one of my holds and then take back all the books that I have read. So I'm not taking this book back yet, because I still have it for a few more weeks, because I want to still attempt to read this. I don't know what it is, this block of mine I have against this book. And I think it really is because I know where this is going, because I know enough about history to know. And I'm afraid. So we'll see. I'm hoping I can get through it. I'd hate to return the book and not finish it, and then not be able to finish the book until whenever the paperback comes out. I don't know. We'll try. And then I also am, this is the audiobook that I'm almost done with. I'm pretty done. This is Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. This is narrated by Christopher Piper. This is a really great book. I'm so glad I bought a physical copy. I don't know, did I get this in May? I don't remember when I got this. I think so. Anyway, I don't remember. I have to go back and look. But I'm really glad I got the physical copy, because there's been times where I've gone back and when he said something to go, I want to research more about that. So again, this is a great, because it's the definitive history of racist ideas in America. And I think this is done really well, a great historical piece of, nonfiction of saying how things happened during that time period and who the leaders were and what they were saying and what people, how they manipulated the system in order to continue with more racist ideas. Even after they fixed one issue, they'd found another way to make it even worse or something. It's been so hard to read in the way that you just shake your head at these people that they're just so racist. Anyway, so and the system is built that way, and it's really a way to see how systematic racism is built, and how how it has become here in America. It's just, it is very eye-opening. A lot of it I knew. I mean, I'm not saying like I didn't, but it was more just putting it all together and seeing the progression and how it would get better and then get worse and then get better and then much worse. And then, it was amazing. It's a really great read. I think everybody should be reading something like this during this time to understand and see how, no, it's not, there's this idea that, because you help not help to live, but, to make it more equal for everybody, that it's hurting you. It's really, you have to look at it again. It's for everybody. You shouldn't focus on, anyway, other than I'm like I don't know, about 50 pages from the end. I have like 2.5 hours or something. Yeah, so, yeah, I have a little over 50 pages. So, anyway, I'm probably gonna hopefully finish that this weekend. So, and then the book that I'm reading right now physically is Into the Storm by Taylor Anderson. So, this is book 1 in the Destroyer Man series. This is a reread. So, I'm halfway through, but it's taken me over a week to get to halfway through. I'm reading this extremely slow, and it's not the book's fault. I really enjoyed this series. I read the first 4 books, and, so I do want to get back into the series because I read those like 5 years ago, and I don't remember a whole lot about, I mean, I remember them, like when I read it, I go, oh yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember it until I read it. And I want to get back into the series because the 15th book just came out, and it's the last book in the series. So now the series is ended. I need to get back to this and actually read them all, because I got to book 4 and it was a cliffhanger, and I never finished or never continued. And I had like 9 or 10 books at the time. I don't know, not that many, maybe. It was only a couple past that, but I still, I need to get back to this. So, this is talking about, it's an alternate history. World War II destroyer, well, 2 World War II destroyers, are in a battle, in the Java Sea. So the American forces, with some British and Dutch as well, and they're fighting against the Japanese, and they are way over powered, so they run and they go into the squall trying to get lost in the rain. Well, the squall sends them to an alternate universe, and let's just say there are things that so the world looks the same in certain ways, like where the land is and the water and stuff, but what's in the water and what's on the land is very different. And let's just say there might not have been a certain asteroid. We're not sure. I don't know. I kind of think so. Anyway, but this is, as I said, it's a great series if you want a big ensemble cast. There's a lot of different perspectives. You get the men and women who are on the Destroyer. There's not very many women. And then there's, this is very male oriented, just so you know. But and then also then there's some other of their allies that they meet later that, I mean, not allies as in human, but maybe something else. So I really enjoy this series. As I said, I've read the first 4 books. I really enjoyed it. Again, you have to know there's war around it. There's men. There's a lot of, you have to deal with a lot of testosterone in it. But I really enjoyed it. And so I do want to I'm trying to get back into it. And as I said, I'm enjoying this. I have not been feeling like reading at night right now, and or a huge amount. So I'm just trying to work it through. So that is everything. Okay, 30 minutes. Oh well, not the best, but it's the whole June. So as I said, I got books read, and so I do have things I checked off, and like I did get a lot of good nonfiction, and I'm very happy I got through a lot of that. And I really enjoyed using my Library Libby app. I have to say, I'm glad that I finally went through and did that. Now I have to read the stuff that I already own. Now, as soon as I finish up the last, well, I have one more audiobook from the library that I'm going to listen to for Jane Austen July. Or we're going to try. But after I finish Stamped from the Beginning. So anyway, I hope your guys' June reading was good. I mean, I said, is there anything really good that you've been reading? Especially any nonfiction, let me know. Just because I'm obviously in a mood for that with a lot of stuff going on. That is my first reaction as always. So anyway, I think that's it, and I will probably be coming to you with some book hauls because I'm behind on some of those because again I keep buying books, and then I will probably do my first July weekly update. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I will there's going to be some tag videos later if I can get my act together. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.